Not at that point in my life, no. No. And I didn't have a clear idea about what being the minister was. I just wanted to be able to live a life where I was working full time on being a Christian or somebody spiritual. I don't think I was smart enough to make a distinction. It was just all lumped together, but I did have like insights come to me as a teenager that were, I don't know where they came from, but things that later have been verified by other thinkers and even scientists. So I felt like I was led to have certain things, but I interpreted it all as one religious philosophy.
Okay.
One of the professors at college, he had come my senior year, I think it was only my senior, maybe junior, senior year. A gentleman by the name of Kester. He didn't have a PhD, he was Howard Kester. And he was the one who recommended I go to Vanderbilt. He was dean of students, a Southern gentleman from North Carolina. At least that's where he lived at the time that I knew him. That's where his home was. And he had been involved in race relations in a big way in the South. He had investigated lynchings, had almost gotten lynched himself a couple of times, even though he was white. His wife was a true Southern, stereotype of a Southern lady. She just had this dignity and really strong Southern accent. So it was like the romance as well as the interest in the seminary, and Vanderbilt did have an excellent seminary. So again, I never explored any other option. And fortunately, Vanderbilt had a Disciples Divinity House, a place for disciple students. It's an interdenominational seminary, so they had students from all different churches. But it did have this nucleus for disciple students, which was perfect. And so, again, I got a scholarship, and they also give you a church to serve, which helps you pay your way through seminary. So again, there was no reflection on it. I bought a car to go to school in, but I was having trouble with the payments, and I didn't see how I was going to keep it up, and so I was praying for some kind of solution. And the solution, be careful what you ask for. The solution was to have an automobile accident. And I broke my right femur, which put me on crutches for 6 months. But it totaled the car, so the insurance paid for the car. And then I had an attorney, the insurance company had an attorney to sue the party that caused the accident. I didn't cause the accident. I was driving up to a little church I served on a Sunday morning, and a gentleman who was coming from the other direction turned across in front of me to go into his field. He was a farmer, and we hit almost head on, and he was unhurt, and so was I, but my car was total. I mean, except for the broken leg. So anyway, they sued him, and they wanted me to settle for less money. And I said, well, if I don't get a certain amount of money, which I need to buy a new car and pay for my tuition, I can't go on to school anyway, so I have nothing to lose by going ahead and going to trial. So they went ahead and settled and gave me a little extra, but just enough to pay the attorneys and to pay off my bills, and I was free to start the second year. But the only way I got through the first year was a friend of mine took notes, copious notes at our classes, and gave them to me every night to study. So because I couldn't go to class for a couple months, and that's how I got through the first year. It was incredible what this guy did for me. I'll never be able to repay him. Elliot Wright. He was very, very bright. So you couldn't have had anybody any better taking notes. He got straight A's going through seminary. But yeah, he's a real help.
Had you been?
Grits. Country music was on all the radio stations. I guess that was pretty much it. The seminary was really a cosmopolitan seminary. It was you had some of the best thinkers in the country. It was a wonderful education, and everybody should go to seminary. And a lot of people did who weren't interested in religious studies. They were interested in learning about religion.
For you?
It changed dramatically. Ended up with a group of like-minded guys, small group of like-minded guys, and we would talk theology every night. We were living our studies. And Friday nights we had these parties that became infamous. Two or three of the guys played guitars and sang folk music. We'd have spaghetti and Italian bread and beer every Friday night. And so guys would have dates, and they were fun parties. I mean, not what you would think of a bunch of seminary guys. And that group became really close. We all went to one another's weddings. I think there were 6 of us. All of us stayed married to the same person to this day. So it's been an unusual group of guys and gals, and we were getting together every year there for a while, and then we started to lose people, getting to that age. That and the relationship with Joanna was a highlight. I could never replace that.